Hey sailors, it's Frank and Kevin from Cruising with Wheels.
And today is a subscriber-inspired video.
That's right. Just like Frank said, today we have a subscriber-inspired video, and it's all about the cruise corporations.
That's right. Who owns who?
I know.
A lot of people don't realize, they think that all these different cruise lines are all individually owned by separate corporations.
Or entities.
Right, and they don't realize that there's kind of, and I don't like to use the word monopoly, but you know,
well, they're intertwined.
They're intertwined, and though each cruise line does run itself as a separate entity, subsidiary of its parent corporation.
The parent corporation owns multiple cruise lines and multiple brands.
Right,
we'll say
so you might not know who owns who.
So we're going to start out with one of the big ones, and frankly today we're only going to talk about 3 major corporations that own multiple cruise lines. So we're going to start out with Carnival Corporation.
Right.
And if you can see, this is Carnival Corporation's headquarters. I think it's really cool in their hedges that they do like the carnival, and they have their iconic spout in front. Each cruise brand is going to have multiple ships in the fleet, but I only pulled an example of one ship.
Right.
So let's get started with, who does Carnival Corporation own?
Well, obviously, the Carnival Cruise Line.
And in addition to Carnival Cruise Line, they own Princess Cruises.
And did you also know that they own Costa Cruises?
Also, they own the Cunard line.
As well as they own Holland America.
Jumping over the pond, they own P&O Cruises.
As well as P&O Cruises Australia.
And AIDA.
And finally, they own Seabourn Cruise Line.
Now, as you can see, Carnival Corporation owns quite a few cruise lines or cruise brands, a total of 9. And each operates independently.
Right. Each cruise line has its own president, a vice president, all the staffing.
CEO, CFO.
Right. Exactly.
And that's why when, say, you travel on a Carnival cruise, it is drastically different from when you're traveling on a Holland America cruise. But they are owned by the same parent corporation.
And then people may ask, well, can my benefits from a Princess cruise be carried over or connected to my benefits on a Costa cruise? And the answer is no.
But when we talk about, that's a good segue into our next cruise corporation, and that would be Royal Caribbean Cruises Ltd. or Limited. And they actually, on some of their brands that they have, do offer cross-point promotions. But let's start out by showing you the office of Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines Limited, located in Fort Lauderdale.
Yep, we pass it every time we're in Fort Lauderdale on our way to Miami.
And some interesting news that we found was that Royal Caribbean has just been approved to build a brand new corporate office facility, spending upwards in $300 million.
Sleek and modern.
And it's going to mirror or be similar to some of the new port facilities that they're building. So let's go down the list of what cruise brands Royal Caribbean
Right.
Cruises Limited has in their portfolio.
Right, that you might not know. And obviously, who's the first one on the list?
The first one on the list is Royal Caribbean International.
Right, obviously. The second one on the list is Celebrity Cruises.
Followed by Pullmantur Cruises.
Followed by Azamara Club Cruises.
Now in the Asian market, they have Sky Sea Cruise Line.
And TUI Cruises.
Now within the Royal Caribbean Cruises Limited brands, the way they do the cross points is only Royal Caribbean and Celebrity. And I believe, I could be wrong on this, but I believe it's only a limited time that they're going to be doing this. They've been doing it for a few years now, where you can, if you've sailed on Celebrity Cruises, you can convert your points into Royal Caribbean Cruise points and vice versa.
Wow, that's actually unique because nobody else does that.
And within the portfolio of Royal Caribbean Cruise Line, your high end will be the Azamara Club Cruises. They're truly special, and we probably forgot to mention, but back when we were talking about Carnival, back then, the Seabourn is their high end cruises.
Everybody has their high end cruise line.
So the final cruise corporation that we're going to talk about today is one that's near and dear to our hearts.
Right.
As all of you know, we like to sail on Norwegian Cruise Lines, but they are owned by Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings Limited.
That's right.
And they're kind of the new guy on the block in a way.
Right, yeah,
They're,
kind of, compared to the rest of them who own a mega amount of different brands.
Right. Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings started maybe 35, 40 years ago, something like that. So the other lines had already been started at that point.
Right. Now, as of right now, this filming, Norwegian Cruise Line's holding parent company is run by CEO Frank Del Rio.
Hi, Frank!
And the division, the Norwegian Cruise Line division, is run by Andy Stewart as president.
Yeah. So the other two that are owned by Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings is Oceania Cruises.
I'm sure a lot of you have heard of them. I don't know how many. We have not sailed on Oceania, which is certainly an option.
And the final is Regent Seven Seas Cruises, which is their ooh-la-la high-end.
Yes.
Hey, Frank Del Rio, we'd love a cruise on there if you want to throw one our way.
Everyone's got a high end. That's yours. We'd welcome one.
Right.
So when you're out there sailing, let's say on Celebrity, it's owned by Royal Caribbean.
Right.
And when you're out sailing on Oceania, it's
owned by Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings.
right. Or if you're on Princess, your favorite Princess ship, it's owned by Carnival Corporation.
Right, right. So all the brands are attached to one parent company.
That's right.
And, things may not be as different on one or the other. Or you could look at it the other way.
Right.
Maybe you want to try an Oceania cruise instead of a NCL because it might be familiar to you.
Right.
But still have a little bit of difference.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. And say, you know what? I like NCL and I've been on the NCL brand ships, but I want to step up and go to the higher end Regent Seven Seas. Because I love Norwegian.
Or maybe you love Carnival.
Right.
And you've gotten a little bit older. Maybe don't want that party ship anymore. Step it up and go on a Princess cruise or a Holland America cruise.
I know. And if you got that inheritance from grandma,
right?
Go on Seabourn. Spend the money.
And we are stepping out of our comfort zone from our normal Norwegian cruises. We've been on many different lines, but we're going to try Royal Caribbean again.
That's right.
And see what that's all about.
Been a while, and obviously things have changed since I was on it. Not that I remember, but
And
yeah.
as I'm talking, a lot of people, I'm thinking that we're going to get a lot of questions about, well, you didn't mention Virgin Voyages. And the reason we didn't mention Virgin Voyages is because they're not owned by any of these parent corporations. It's an actual brand new cruise line that's being started by Sir Richard Branson.
That's right.
And it's within the Virgin portfolio. So Virgin
Virgin Mobile, Virgin Galactic.
Galactic Virgin Airlines.
Yes.
So
Voyages now for the new Scarlet Lady.
I know,
So,
and
yeah.
we can't wait to try that one.
So there are so many cruise lines out there, but it's really good to know who owns who.
So we want to thank you all for joining us today.
Yeah, we hope we've given you a tidbit of behind-the-scenes information on your favorite cruise line.
Remember to hit that subscribe button
That's
if you're
right.
not already part of the Cruising with Wheels family. I want to remind everybody about Frank's Cruise Chat.
That's right. Go to Facebook, and I have a group called Cruise Chat. Just find it, click to join. Everyone's welcome from all of these cruise lines that we've talked about today. So if you're a cruiser on one of them, please join the group, post your pictures, share your experiences. And you know what? For those of you that have never cruised and want to be new cruisers, you come join as well and pick everybody's brain. And we'll help you out as much as we can.
But until next time, we want to remind you all to
Travel safe.
and cruise often.